everybody, it's Jamie Van Dorn with D8 for Inspiration. I'm so excited to have you guys on the channel with us. This is fantastic. So, I think I said my name already, Jamie Van Dorn. I'm the founder and CEO of Never Ending. My team and I are creating an amazing amateur animation and storytelling platform where you're going to be able to create billions of unique characters, point and click webcomics, and also animated videos. Super easy animated videos where you don't even have to draw or animate or anything. That's amazing. But not as amazing as the show that we have for you today. The show that we have for you today is all about NPCs, and we're talking with three amazing TTRPG creators. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a moment. Actually, yeah, really quickly in just a moment. But these NPCs are coming up in our upcoming book, Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, which is a whole book about different NPCs, and a little bit more about that later. But for now, let's turn it over to our amazing guests. Omega, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, hey, yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard across all social media channels. I am a professional actor and vocalist from the Midwest, a tabletop professional, player, DM, designer, and just a hot mess, honestly. I've worked with many different companies, such as World of Darkness and Critical Role, where I did the jingle for Critter Hug with them. And I just yeah, what else is there? Oh, I'm a Twitch partner. I've been a partner for almost 2 years now, though that's weird to even think about. And yeah, we're here. I'm here having a good time. Just happy to have been able to create an NPC with you all. So thank you for asking me.
Thank you. And Sebastian, why don't we kick it over to you?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Sebastian Yue. I'm a TTRPG writer and editor based in Canada. You can find me everywhere at Sebastian Yue. And I'm likewise very excited to have been able to contribute an NPC to this project. And thank you for having me.
Woo, thank you for being here. And last but certainly not least, DeathbyMage, also known as...
Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie Leung, better known as DeathbyMage, as Jamie just said. I am an award-winning TTRPG writer, and I have had the luxury of working for Paizo. I've done some things for DM's Guild, actually several things, and I also have a bunch of other projects that I'm still working on right now. But I was very pleased to work for this, and I was very grateful to be asked to create a wonderful character for all of you today.
Well, we were super grateful to have you do that. So thank you to all of you. This is fantastic. I do want to just take a moment. I don't think Omega mentioned that he is a super accomplished singer, actually, with beautiful vocal stylings. Some people may not know that I am also an amateur accomplished singer with no experience. And I thought maybe we might have a quick little sing up. Oh no, oh no. I think I think it would be fantastic if we had a quick little sing off. Now, before you say yes or no, let me just share with you a few things that people have said about me. And I just wrote these from comments that people have literally given me. So people have described me as having an indescribable voice.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said they never heard anything like it. Another person said, clearly you have nowhere to go but up. And this one I'm particularly proud of. I didn't know there were so many notes in that song.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Are you, I mean, I'll go first, but are you up for it? Are you willing to
Listen,
share?
we're here, so let's see those vocal pipes. Let's see what I need to be singing as well, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you can sing anything. You don't have to pick the same song. I'm gonna just sing We Don't Want to Get Hit with a
DMCA.
Copyright. Yeah, so I'm just gonna sing two lines from a little ditty I've heard on the radio a few times by the original Skater Girl. You know, don't call me baby, love it when you hate me. That's the opposite of me. I actually love it when people love me, so I don't really get that song too much, but you know, I'm gonna go for it. So just all right. You ready?
Yeah.
Don't call me baby. I love it when you hate me. I don't know if you can follow that, but I'd love for you to try. But you should bring it because I just brought it.
Wow. I don't even know what to sing though. And when you put a singer on the spotlight, they freeze up like a deer.
Do you want to hit the same one, or you could do something different? This is just a brief musical interlude, everyone. But...
The brief musical interlude. I will sing. I feel like it needs to be like D&D related. Or TTRPG related. Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh gosh, this is bad. Give me a song that's not that one, because I don't know that one and I can't think of that one. Oh my gosh. Someone give me a song.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
That's, you know what, that works.
That works.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I'm totally not looking up the lyrics to Over the Rainbow right now. It's totally not happening because I know them, but then you don't know them. Oh, yes, okay. Jesus, I'm taking coffee. Hold on.
I'm just warning you, like, the audience is going to tell us who won.
That's fair. Okay.
So, and I put my best foot forward.
I believe you did. You know what? And your best foot is the best foot for you. That's all that matters. Okay. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. That's all you get.
Okay, well, I suppose if people like good singing, or, you know, like traditionally beautiful, you know, yeah, I could see how some people might like that.
Listen, it's not about who sounds better. It's about the moment
I was
that
very
you gave.
loud. I would like to point out that I was very loud.
You know, you weren't as loud as you think you were.
Shit. That was fantastic. I am so, you know what? All of this entire stream was just set up so that I could have Omega sing to all of us. That's the whole stream.
The entire reason. Okay, thank you all so much for being here.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. So, all right, we will get back to our regular programming, but thank you so much for putting up with me, Omega. I appreciate it. You are such a good sport. I don't think we even need to go to the audience to ask who won that little sing-off.
I mean, obviously, it was our wonderful producer behind the scenes. Duh.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So hopping back in, you know, what we're doing today is we are highlighting 3 of the fantastic NPCs that are going to be showing up in the new book, Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, which is a project that me and my team are working on. It's a book of diverse and inclusive NPCs, but these are not like the Bandit King or the Duke. These are more like a flower seller, you know, a tavern server, you know, a fishmonger, or in this case, well, I don't want to reveal until it's time to reveal, but they're the NPCs that just that the DM doesn't usually plan a lot of backstory around, but players invariably get attracted to and want to interact with. So I can't tell you how many times I've had kind of a throwaway NPC and all of a sudden the players all want to adopt this NPC, and I've got to come up with a backstory, I've got to come up with a personality, a quirk, a driving goal, all that stuff. Well, that's all in this. In addition, all of these NPCs come with an intro monologue that helps kick off an interaction with the players. That's optional to use and is going to be professionally voice acted. So 2 of our folks here on this call actually voice acted their own NPCs in addition to writing them. So with that, I want to ask you guys, well, first I want to thank you again for being involved in the project, but I do want to ask you guys, like, what had you interested in the project? Why did you say yes? Or what do you think is cool about it? If I might ask that.
Yeah, honestly, I just really love coming up with different characters, and that was a really big draw. And specifically, I liked that you asked for like NPCs that you could encounter just on a day-to-day basis that didn't necessarily have to be like final boss type, because that got me thinking about like, you know, like what kinds of kind of, you know, sort of mundane-ish adventures that could be had that was still interesting.
Right. Yeah, I totally dig that. I totally dig that too. And I think that you can make your world a lot more interesting with interesting NPCs. That's my thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I loved it for the fact that there was such a variety of characters, because like everyone who didn't get who for everyone behind the scenes, like there was like a long list of potential NPCs we could make, and I just loved looking at all the different professions that we could go for our NPCs, and I just went, yeah, I could see any of these being anywhere, and I loved that ability, and I love having that variety, and so it was a lot of fun just for me as a creator, just to say, ooh, I get to play with, I get to have a nice little play field of what to make, and so that got me hooked really quickly.
Aw, that's really cool. That's really cool. And we didn't require you to actually pick any of those. You could
Mhm.
still do something completely original, even though there was a list of like inspiration.
Yeah. It's funny because, you know, Sebastian said, you know, it was really nice that we can make these kind of just mundane, everyday type of NPCs and not necessarily a final boss. And I totally made a final boss. Oops. uh, um, but no, what honestly drew me was the fact that it was inspired by Anansi. Anansi is one of, like, I am not like religious, or I'm spiritual in a way, but not necessarily. But if they were like three deities, or, you know, spirits or whoever that inspired me as a person nowadays, I have to say it's Apollo, Bel and Samedi from Haitian Voodoo, and Anansi. Just because for me, Anansi is like the original bard. Telling stories is what we do, and being the overseer of stories and being that facilitator of of history almost is always is something that's super important to me. You know, making sure that we continue to speak and give, you know, what we know to be joy and happiness, or whatever the case may be, so the next generation can have that, is super important. So yeah, I saw it was a non-scene. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm in. Like, I'm probably getting a spider tattoo right here for Nancy, and most of my best friends will not like it. Actually, my best friends in chat. Hi, Shannon. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I was here for it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we actually have gotten a lot of really positive feedback about having, you know, the book inspired by Anansi. And we actually contracted a really fantastic artist in Ghana, which is where Anansi originates, to do the book cover. And I should actually, I'll for our producer, Chaotic Tiefling, I'll get that over into the file in just a second, and we can pull that up and show that off at some point, because it is a really fantastic image. Actually, let me do that just really quick. 1 second. Thank you guys for bearing with me as I do these little last minute thingamaboppers. Um,
We like last minute thingamaboppers. Nothing wrong with that.
Thank you. So Jordan, I just to our producer Jordan, I just put that image in the folder on Drive. So if you can pull that up and pop it in, that would be really cool. But one of the reasons why we wanted to pick Anansi also was because we wanted to communicate that this is not kind of the typical book where everything is very Eurocentric, very medieval-esque. And so that's one of the reasons why we've reached out also to a ton of different guest writers and voiceover artists and other folks, is because we want a wide array of voices and perspectives and cultures and different kinds of representation and inclusion. You guys will kind of see or discover that these three NPCs in particular have something in common that I am super excited to see more of, and that is gender representation. So I think that's really cool. I guess we'll get into it. I think if you guys are chill, we'll pull up that first one, which is King Alistair de Campo. And once that comes up on screen, Omega, if you wouldn't mind just reading through them.
Can we do their little spiel as well before we
Yeah,
get to
if you want
there?
to do that,
Cool.
yeah, for sure.
I can give you a sneak peek of the weird. No, it's not. It wasn't even a weird voice. Just
No, it was
so
great.
yeah.
It was, it was really great.
Yeah, he was fun to create. Let me know when we go. But yeah, he was a. I guess I can before it pops up. I guess talk about his inspiration.
Okay.
Unless that's a spot you wanted to say for
Oh
later.
yeah, you can totally. Yeah, I think you should talk about the inspiration first, as we wait for that to kind of come up on screen.
Oh, there it is. It's on screen now. So I'll do the little spiel before I get into them. So this is me putting on my voice acting cap. All right. Tell me, what does the pyramid represent to you? To some, it is the diamond flipped upside down, riches and power coalesced into a simple stone. To others, it is a truth realized layer by layer. At the bottom, it is wide enough for the world to inhabit, but with so much space comes the reality of it all. Even with all of its space, it is not enough for the masses. The top, the elite and privileged, live in squalor and elegance, their weight added to the inevitability of what lives beneath. To me, it is a space meant to represent one thing and one thing only: inequality and inequity. It benefits no one in the end, and yet it exists. That's where I come in. I, King Alistair de Campo, declare that I will pledge my life to dismantling this pyramid. The downtrodden and destitute will be free from the powers that be. That is my decree. But that brings me back to you. So allow me to ask you again. What does the pyramid represent to you? I wouldn't choose the wrong answer if I were you.
By
Yeah.
the way, like there's this one of the things that, yes, let's round of applause. One of the things that I love about this image, by the way, is that he's just lazily holding this dagger by the tip, just completely relaxed, lean back. But there's something, he's very charming, clearly, and dangerous. So
Yeah.
we'd love to hear like kind of the inspiration for him, and then what we'll do is also have you read through the personality, the driving goal, and the quirk. But tell us first a little bit about kind of what inspired you and how King Alistair de Campo came to be.
So I am definitely that TTRPG player that there's always a message behind, even if it's unintentional, which I've sometimes realized. There's always something behind. And with Alistair, I wanted someone who at a glance you think one thing until you realize they're a complete 180 from what they appear to be. And he appears to be, this kingly type of royal individual, kind of potentially flouncing his power and all that, and all whatever that may be. But in reality, he is about dismantling all of that, and this is just an image to mock the system. In a way, he does not use, kingly power and might for his own interest. He's the type of person who's going to, go around and help people who might be living on their own in the streets. He's just that person who tosses a coin to someone, helps them out, gives somebody some food. He is very caring in that sense, but he will also stab you if you go against, or not go against, but if you, he is 1000% people talk about this, after power and ACAB and other stuff. He's the person to go stab those people. He's like, we'll handle this, because he's all about protection, and lifting up those who can't lift themselves up. So yeah, its inspiration was definitely fighting the powers that be. But having not just be some gruff, I've been through so much and now I need to take it down because blah 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 blah. Not want somebody who's just gonna chill. And it's like, yeah, I love you, but I'll also kill you. And I need that to be very clear. So yeah, that's kind of guess where I was sitting with him.
And he's got this like beaten copper crown, this kind of worn out.
He does. If you look at his image, you notice that like probably the cleanest thing he has is his vest, but he wears pretty simple clothing. Like his pants are patchwork. He wears these simple peasant like boots. And the crown, it's super dented. It's super cracked, but he always keeps it upright. It's that imagery that is important. And something I wanted to notice that without using D&D terms, he's basically of the air elemental variety. He flows, he goes. But that's also kind of the scary thing because he's so quick and he's so, if he needs to do what he needs to do, he's going to be behind you with a dagger before you realize it.
We used gin blood as kind of our term, since I don't think we're allowed to use the other one. But I'd love for you to share his bio really quick, if you don't mind, and then we'll go for bio, personality, driving goal, quirk, because that's some of the stuff that really helps flesh out each of these NPCs.
Mm-hmm. Of course. His bio. So it reads, in the shadows of the night where the downtrodden and desolate reside together like distant kin, there lies one known as Alistair de Campo, self-proclaimed king of the alleyways, a defender of those societies a defender of those societies have shunned and left to fend for themselves. A defender of the societies shunned and left to defend for themselves. I'm like, that is a weird sentence, and I don't know why. He is a bright light amongst the morbid darkness of this world. But this was not always the fate of this so-called king. Once he was called Lucas Winhide, a shy and simple lad with a big smile and even bigger dreams ahead. Born amongst the slums and suffering to a mother with no one else to help her nourish and care for him, he quickly learned about the truths of the world. No one would come to help those like him and his family. The only person one could depend on was himself. This became even more of a certain truth to him when his mother became the victim of an unfortunate accident with the royal guard. When power reigns without chains, chaos unfolds under the guise of order. Order demanded her head. He would have been next if he hadn't fled for his life. It was then that Lucas became Alistair, one who would never respect those with absolute power again. The title of king became a mockery of those who only sought to use their gifts for their own gain. He would be the one to keep the lower class safe by any means necessary. He had most people have a rough backstory life, but he witnessed specifically, the passing of his mother by the so-called laws and system that was meant to protect people like him, and it hearted him. He is definitely, you want to say he's neutral good, but he's almost lawful evil in the sense that like he will go there to protect those he cares about. And some people may say that's a good thing, but some people may say that's too far. And he doesn't really care because too many people are quick to talk about it and be like, well, we should do this thing and never act on it. And like, he's like, someone needs to act on it. So I'm gonna protect these people, but I'm also gonna take everybody out who's a problem. Like he's the type of person who will try to like assassinate a king. Will he survive? I don't know, but he'll try. Just somebody who went through a very bad thing and now he wants to fight those and protect those who couldn't be protected, but also fight those who did it in the first place under the guise of order, as he says. Yeah, he almost despises the idea of it.
And then we'll hit the personality, driving goal, and quirk, so that all our viewers can kind of get the full
Of
image.
course. First personality. The first thing one will note that about Alistair is his unwavering charm. Though times have changed, as king of the alleyways, he has never lost that smile that brought joy to those around him. He may have a dark demeanor to those who seek to flaunt their privilege, but to those around, he is a caring, thoughtful, and protective leader. Whether it's food from his plate or the shirt off his back, he will help those who have no means of helping themselves. Most importantly, he is not afraid to show his own might to those who deserve it. To be king is to use your power for the masses, and it is what he does, even if his own status is the direct mimicry of the royals who wish for nothing but their own solidified happiness. His driving goal is to see the success and uplifting of the oppressed and persecuted. As it will always be his first and foremost task. To dismantle the system that places the lower class in these situations is an ambition that's always in the back of his mind. It will take more than just him to complete this objective, but he can at least better the lives of those around him. Alistair looks out for anyone who does not have the means to look out for themselves. And a couple of quirks that he has is that the symbolism of being kingly is important to his image. So when his crown isn't balanced upon his head, he will quickly fix it. Just like the crown, his smile is also a part of his cultivated aesthetic. He is meticulous about keeping his teeth and mouth clean as possible, keeping a small bottle of wintergreen infused liquid on hand to keep his breath fresh and inviting. You know, when you in somebody's face and they ate something that's good for them, but not so nice for your nose, never good. So yeah, he always has like a little hello.
Oh, that's fantastic. What I could see myself using Alistair in a couple of ways. One, just to kind of create some conflict for the party. You know, I love to have these kind of things where parties have to make a decision between, you know, do they kind of leave things as the status quo, or do they shake things up? Like, what side do they fall on? You know, especially if the adventure isn't moving a lot. I think Alistair could really be somebody who kind of makes the players make some kind of decision. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well.
Sebastian. I appreciate the mouthwash. That was the first thing I wanted to say. I appreciate that. But yeah, I can see Alistair definitely having like that kind of role where you get to see the real world in terms of like where they see it, and versus the grand overture that usually you see in like a setting when you first walk, when even the adventurers walk in the first time. It's like, oh, we have this very clandestine notion of what this place is, what it looks like, and then Alistair's like, yeah, no, that's not real.
Truth. I definitely wanted him to be someone, and while he will keep the idea of being king, he also is the type of person who will just kind of wander around and just be with the people. So he could easily, while he does have like final boss, you know, very important NPC vibes, he also could easily just be somebody wandering around who helps them out. Like, hey, yeah, direction's that way. But like, it's that moment where as they're leaving, you notice that he's still watching to see like where they're going, just to know what's going on, and then like just kind of disappears into the shadows. Like, who is that person? Like, we don't know, but he helped you for now. Like, he has those moments. He has the ability to be someone kind of random, but he also has the ability to be somebody very forward in the plot. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think he's a really cool character. I have this kind of, you said that they were kind of created to like subvert expectations. And so I feel like it would be a really cool like way for the party to meet. Like, they kind of witness them kind of stabbing someone, and then they learn that actually like that person kind of deserved it. So I also appreciate that he is a leader who, you know, is very confident and strong, but doesn't necessarily like look down on other people. And I appreciate that he's like solidly there for his community. And I think that's really cool too. Like, there are many different ways for the party to run into them. Like if the party is kind of hanging around in the city and there's just various different problems to solve, like there's an easy way for them to meet.
And the blunt truth is, you know, if you have a party who's like their job is from the crown,
oh yeah,
and they
definitely
go into this space, then he's not an NPC that's good for you. It's going to be an enemy. So learning that is also interesting. Well, so yeah, I think there's many different ways that they can be brought into a game, and I think that'll be fun. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm excited to hear how people end up using him. Folks in chat, you're welcome to let us know what you guys think, and if you have questions about anything. We're gonna bring up Libralis Nightshade. I hope I pronounced it correctly next.
Yes, that's correct.
And that should be coming up any second. We need the whole PDF, please.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready.
It is up.
Okay.
You are welcome to dive right in.
Okay, so I can read the monologue. So it's hello, welcome to Nightshade's Nook, home of forbidden knowledge and arcane oddities. Do you fancy a book of obscure rituals, or perhaps a new poison recipe? For research purposes only, of course. Or can I interest you in the latest catalogue of enchantment spells, fresh from the desks of leading contemporary scholars? If none of that takes your fancy, tell me more about what you're looking for and I'll find it for you. And if I don't have it, I'll either arrange to get it or point you to someone who does. I aim to please, and there's no better reward than a curiosity satisfied. If you're just here to browse, our bestsellers table is over there. This month's most popular titles are My Dad the Demon, A True Story, and Necromance, Dating Tips for the Undead Bachelor. Please do enjoy yourselves and let me know if I can help you find anything.
Can I just say those two books?
Yeah.
Great books. Great books.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to read those books.
Yeah, honestly, I want to read those books too. I like to inject humor into these kinds of things. Yeah, so Libralis Nightshade is a very their NPC of very questionable morals, and that's by design. I like that there is the opportunity for the party to kind of meet them in very, like, I want them to be someone who the party can kind of come back to if they visit the place where Libralis is located. So like maybe they're looking for something and it's really difficult to find information on it. Perhaps it's been outlawed, and then Libralis can be there and be like, oh, I have that. But then maybe the next time they go back to the city, then like they'll find that it's in chaos, and Libralis is there like, oh yeah, I mean, I sold a person a book on how to do this, but like not my problem. And then like that is a good way to kind of create I guess conflict within the party, because I feel, yeah, someone who can be allied with or be made an enemy of, there's good reasons to like them, and there's also very good reasons to dislike them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's definitely a pretty cool thing. I'd love for you to go into the bio and personality and Quirk.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it goes, Libralis Nightshade is the offspring of two academic researchers who spent their lives studying magic, specifically transmutation and conjuration magic. In addition to their research careers, Libralis' parents ran the university bookshop where Libralis spent most of their childhood. When Libralis was old enough to read, they grew curious about topics that weren't in the bookshop. Their parents told them that some schools of magic, such as necromancy and enchantment, were inherently evil and should not be taught. Libralis questioned this opinion and developed an interest in forbidden knowledge. They amassed their own collection of books on banned or scorned topics and established the Ex Libris Society, a secret book club for other like-minded individuals. As they grew up, Libralis traveled in search of even more books for their collection. On their travels, they decided that they wanted to share what they had found with as many people who were interested, and resolved to go home and open a bookshop. Libralis operates on the grounds that no knowledge is illegal, and they cannot control what people do with the books after they leave the shop.
Wow, that is like, just, it has totally like, look, I'm not the villain vibes.
Yeah, I mean, they totally could be villain vibes. It just depends. Like, you know, there's a way to kind of play this so that, you know, if the GM would like them to be a more sympathetic character, then it could be like, you know, I am literally saving all of these books from destruction otherwise, and, you know, none of them are on kind of, you know, none of them teach you how to do like, you know, bad things or whatever. But you know, they also can just be like, well, yeah, I'm enabling all of this stuff and none of it's my fault. So yeah, I like to think in terms of what kinds of quests and what kinds of storylines this will enable like the players to tell. And I can see like a lot of different, like a party with of characters of various different alignments and temperaments having very different opinions on this person.
Absolutely. Let's get into the personality quirk or personality driving goal and quirk.
Yeah, so personality, they're friendly and open. They are always happy to meet new people and are eager to share their views on knowledge and morality. They believe that knowledge itself is value neutral and simply knowing about questionable things doesn't reflect one's ethics. They are willing to negotiate the prices on all books in their shop because what matters most to liberalis is helping people to learn more about topics that are difficult to research. And their driving goal is simply liberalis wants to share knowledge with as many people as they possibly can, which they do through selling their books. And their quirk is liberalis is comfortable discussing disturbing concepts and talks about grim topics as casually as they would discuss the weather.
Do you think there's any particular books or scrolls or anything that liberalis would like, if they could get that, they would love that book? Or is that
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely, like some of the other titles indicates that they're interested in demons. They are interested in kind of books on summoning demons, which is generally, frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I could definitely.
Also like kind of rarer poison recipes that might be difficult to come by, that kind of thing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, also, on the kind of flip side of it, they probably are also very interested in books about, I don't know, religions that have died out or otherwise just knowledge that has been lost.
Yeah, I could definitely see me using this NPC, actually in a really basic way as well, because sometimes I've played with players before who want everything, and God forbid I put them in like they're in a place where there's a personal library and there's any books that are salvageable, because they'll be like grabbing all the books. I'm like, what are you guys gonna do with all the books? We're gonna sell it. I'm gonna be like, oh great, now I would have a bookseller to whom they could sell them.
Oh yeah,
and
they would buy those.
Yeah, and who could also be a researcher. Do you Omega and Jackie, do you guys have any thoughts about how liberalis might fit into any of your campaigns or into how you might use them?
I can see liberalis fitting for one of my games where they need to find some obscure book that is probably out of print, hasn't been seen. There's only 5 copies in the entirety of existence, and liberalis has 2 of them.
Nice.
I think what's drawing me to liberalis, and I don't know if we share like the same mindset, just like thinking about almost like adding these social issues or like just issues that we have faced in the society. And so, I think about the high school, the banned books list of like, the people have banned these things when it's like, why are these banned? These are just talking about some real issues, but propaganda. And it's really nice that it seems like they are the type of people, the person to have all of those books and more. And I really liked, people like to act like racism can't be in fantasy. It is. But what's interesting to me is like their version of what's bad is like necromancy and enchantment. And it's like, that's not actually bad. It's what it is. And it actually, it made me smile and made me think, because like a lot of people forget revivify and raise dead are a necromancy. So if you don't like necromancy, your best friend's not coming back when they die. Just in case you didn't know that. But it's okay when we bring them back. No, okay. Just okay, cool, good to know. Because people like to use, in here, I guess I really like them as a character, and I think I can see them in different ways. Yeah. And I really enjoy that like a plot hook really is, oh, yeah, that evil bandit lord now has a bunch of arcane ability because they got a book from me. But I mean, I wasn't going to stop them from reading. Anybody, reading's fundamental. What you do with it past this wall is up to you. Okay, what do you want? Like, I really like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with Sebastian in doing that. And they don't get to be, prosecuted by proxy just because they gave them the means for it, because it's just knowledge, and knowledge should be free. And what you do with that knowledge is up to you. And I really like that. So I could definitely see them.
Yeah, thank you both.
Sebastian, yeah, did you have a premonition about the banned books? Because this is really tight. Like, you wrote this.
Yeah, no, I did. This was like I was writing this in the summer when there was a lot of that happening, and it was definitely on my mind. I think that like there are, books get banned for all sorts of different reasons, and I just don't think that like I as a person do not believe that like books should be banned like at all. And I think that if a book was banned in the setting, then Libralis would be like, all right, I have no idea what this is about, but like I want it because someone thinks that it should not be read. Therefore, I'm going to make it my mission to go and get it. And yeah, like I mean, also the other thing is that like Libralis doesn't necessarily have to like stay in their bookshop. Like the party can encounter them while maybe searching for the same book, and they could either work together or they could be rivals. Lots of opportunities. But yeah, I definitely was thinking about that. And you're right, CB. Like I do like to think about various different kinds of social issues, and I think it's interesting to me because like this person could be a very valuable ally in helping to solve some of those, or they could also just be enabling them to keep occurring. And that's something that the party would have to deal with. And I think that kind of tension would be interesting to explore.
Yeah, a lot of these NPCs are about flexibility. That's one of the key things that, when we talked with all of our guest writers about, was that we want to leave a lot of stuff open-ended so that the DMs and the players can the DMs primarily can use these NPCs in a lot of different ways. So we have our final NPC of the day is Isla. Did I pronounce that correctly, Jackie?
You could definitely do Isla. Actually, it's based. I named it after one of my friend's daughters. So they pronounce it as Isla.
That's so much prettier than how I said it. Isla. That's fantastic.
I actually named it after their daughter. So I told them recently about it. It's like I have your child named for an NPC. I hope that's okay. And they were like, yeah, that's absolutely great. So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, do you wanna read the monologue?
Sure, absolutely. I can read the monologue. Salutations. Come. How can I be of service to you? I assume you seek a map or something similar. I don't know if you were informed by whoever referred me, but I have no use for gold or glamorous trinkets. Only news or stories on recent politics. If you have an interesting piece or two, then the channels for negotiations are open. If you have another reason for the pleasure of your visit, please speak. I'm very busy and currently working on a commission for another patron. If you've news, please have a seat, and I'll offer my humble hospitality. A drop of good news is hard to come by these days. But if I may be bold, you look the type to have a recent adventure. Come, tell your story. Of course, you may purchase one of my many maps once you have finished your tale. Or perhaps in exchange of information? I know this region fairly well, after all. My services and skills are at your disposal. Let's make haste. Daylight is wasting. Let me grab some ink and fresh parchment.
Another fantastic NPC. These are all so fantastic. And so where's some of the inspiration for Isla, and just tell us about them.
So I remember when I was thinking I would love to have, I was thinking to myself how I was trying to think of a scene of how would you introduce a character, and the first thing that popped in was the character when you go open into a shop and there is confusion, disarray everywhere, and then you hear something crash and someone grunting, and then you see them moving quickly and you're trying to get their attention and they abruptly stop, and they're in the middle of like doing something very delicate and intricate, and they're trying to juggle it while also trying to interact with you for as brief of a moment as they can. So that was Isla in terms of that. Yeah, and then I thought, okay, let's try something different. And I was like, I was also in the recent binge of doing cartographer characters for a while. So I just went, oh, let's just add another cartographer. I can always have another cartographer character. Everyone loves one of those.
Absolutely, that's super useful because there's a lot of places where you could use that character. I mean, that NPC, a lot. Let's dive into the bio if we can.
Sure. Isla was born to a small sea elf community and curious about the waters beyond their humble reef. Their curiosity led to many youthful misadventures exploring and charting the outer boundaries of the community. In time, they met other sea elves and aquatic communities, forging some early relations and trade agreements. The successful trade alliance led to a larger congregation and diplomatic relations with other cultures and societies. Isla was a pragmatic diplomat and believed in mutual benefits to unite parties together under a common cause. However, they never fathomed that there were parties with ulterior motives who sought to exploit the Sea Elves' good faith. An unpleasant dispute led to a bloody skirmish, an intolerable failure. The alliance and relations began to buckle and break. Many member states left while others clustered under mutual armistice against common threats. Isla suffered the blame from their community, especially for thrusting its members to engage with cultures and peoples that ultimately endangered them. And Isla's community banished them with a heavy heart, and they wandered across different shores and ports for many years. Their cartographic wow,
Cartography.
their cartography skills proved proved a valuable service for various clientele and an opportunity for Isla to listen in on political and societal news from neighboring territories. I should comment that I did not anticipate what is the current situation back then when I wrote this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, that was not one that anybody was predicting.
That was the one where I did not write this on my bingo card.
Right. I feel like that's been most of 2020, 2021, and now 2022. It is this constant like, nope, didn't have that on my bingo card. So, and yeah. But this is a really interesting character because they've had a fall from grace, a fall from grace, and that is kind of impacting them. I'd love to get into the personality quirk, personality driving goal in Quirk. I'll get that right eventually. I'll get that right.
Sure. So for personality, an inquisitive and curious sea elf, Isla was always an avid explorer since their youth. After meeting other people beyond their reef community, Isla developed a love for trading stories and information, especially trivia. They were mesmerized by the experience. Isla yearns for new experiences, and the subtle thrill of exploration serves as a driving force behind their seeming overextension or on temperamental matters of state. A trait that can sometimes get the sea elf into precarious situations. Isla is exceptionally pragmatic, a noteworthy trait as a diplomat, typically viewing exchanges and transactions on a one-for-one basis. Everyone wants something, as Isla would say. One can learn everything about the sea elf by their extensive work on their maps, from subtle notes to comprehensive information unknown to few. Isla's maps are sometimes used as the baseline for cartography scholars and students. And for their driving goal, while Isla is a proud cartographer, they yearn for redemption from their former community. Isla wasn't given any conditions or merits to achieve this endeavor. As a result, Isla internalized their diplomatic failure, the destabilization of the old alliance, and the harm dealt to their community as factors leading to their expulsion. Isla strives to perform anything to make amends with their community, even anonymously, by keeping tabs on the surrounding politics and trends. If necessary, Isla may stick their fins into unsavory stately arenas and courts, pulling on old favors and bygone prestige. And their quirk, Isla can easily become engrossed in anything interesting to them, or if it pertains to their former community. Their narrow focus approach highlights this narrow focus approach highlights Isla's attention to detail, but it also causes problems when confronted with larger ideas with greater time horizons. In other words, they can handle the present and immediate resolutions, but they may ultimately lead to issues later.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in here. I can definitely see, I mean, there's the really obvious way that you use this character, like the players need a map, or they have a map that needs to be translated, or anything with a map. But then you could have like a situation where the players actually have some kind of some kind of political news that Isla sniffs out a little bit, you know, and there might be some repercussions from that. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about where this NPC might fit into your worlds, or how you might use them, or what you think about them.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I really like them. Like they have very likewise very strong motivations. And I'm always in a position where like if I go somewhere new, my first question is always gonna be, do we have a map? And sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending on how easy like the GM wants to make it. And so and also like there was one game that I was playing in which we had a map, but it was incomplete. And so we got to a certain area and then we were like, right, we have no idea what is out here. So I think that would be a good thing to approach Isla for. And also it's interesting because it means that like they also have stuff to trade in turn. So that could be, you know, depending on what it like the party might have something that Isla wants and vice versa. And also, I think that like the community angle, there's a way for like maybe one of the party members has knowledge about the community because like they passed through there on their way or something similar, and then it might give Isla ideas as to how they may begin to kind of be making amends. And it's very difficult if they don't necessarily have like a metric of what they need to achieve in order to get back in. So that would be interesting. Yeah.
There you
Go ahead.
Yeah, what the first thing that popped out to me is the smartness of using maps. And what I mean by that is, as we said, the easy, and I don't want to say the easy route because it's still a complexity to it, but the easy route is, you know, yeah, this is someone who knows the area very well or knows surrounding areas very well and has, you know, these physical maps to help in certain situations. You know, if you need, if your party's just stuck, or they're not moving fast enough, they can easily run into this individual who just has this type of information to help them get to point A to point B, and also like see it in a little bit extra. But what I really also love is that it's not just about cartography; it's about the political map and the map of intrigue. The fact that they're almost like a physical manifestation of the dark web in a weird way. That you know they have a lot of information and they have how to get from point A to point B with the next point. Like they have all this mapped out, but what are you willing to give them to get that information? Or if they're giving it to you, why are they giving it to you? I think there's a lot you can do with that. And it's really cool to just, it's like under the guise of this simple, you know, yeah, I'm just mapping out this hill and mapping out this place and this person's going to be here at this place and what? Oh, hi. You know, I just really like that. Not that they have ulterior motives. It's just really nice that they don't limit themselves to just the geography of it all. They have a map of everything, and that could be very useful, but also could be very dangerous because it also hints that they know a lot. So I guess I like that. I think they could be used for many different reasons, and I'm very curious to see how they get used.
Thank you, everyone. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, that social and political map idea, Omega, I'm so glad that you brought that up because that's like key. That's like that is actually how this NPC should be used more than just the maps. It's about that political and social map, and I think that that's really cool. I think all of these NPCs have really some significant and phenomenal richness to them. Like just having everything from the, you know, having all of that backstory, the personality, the driving goal, the quirk, it gives so many tools for the DM or GM to use these folks. And I think that that's key. So, and a lot of them can become a story hook. That wasn't our goal with these, but that's fantastic. That's how you know it's a good NPC, when there are these possibilities for story hooks. So you guys did fantastic. I just want a round of applause to this team here. You guys were fantastic. So there is more coming. We will have many, many more NPCs coming. I want to mention that next week we're going to be talking about representation and specifically talking with the Sinauna team, which is a fantastic Filipino-based TTRPG setting. Oh, and here's yeah, they are absolutely fantastic. And here's, by the way, the image for the book cover. Jordan, if we can zoom in a little bit more, and you guys will note the Anansi has all of these puppets these puppets are actually NPCs that appear in the book. So when you get the book, you're going to probably recognize some of those puppets as actually that's like kind of the puppet version of them. So it's this idea of Anansi as the storyteller, as the architect of all of these. And it fits that all of these NPCs have so much intrigue and everything to them. But I love this image. It's like I went nuts when we worked with this artist. He's so fantastic. But after the Cine Una, which is next weekend, the following weekend, we will be talking about more TTRPG NPCs. So we'll have more for you folks. But I know we're running out of time. So what I want to do is make sure that we give our wonderful guests an opportunity to share their outro, who they are again, and where we can find them. If you guys are interested in Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, hang on to your hats, because in a week, we'll have a Kickstarter page up where you can actually sign your name up to get into it first. And this book is going to have about between 50 and 75 NPCs. It will be fully illustrated and professionally voice acted monologues. And some of these folks are coming with box text. Some of them are coming with stat blocks. The stat blocks that we're doing are like 3 tiers of play stat blocks. So low, middle, high tier play. So lots of really cool stuff. I'm super excited for these, and I am incredibly grateful to Omega, Sebastian, Jackie for working with us on this, lending us your time, your talents, your treasure. It is so meaningful. You guys are so talented. We're going to do the outro, and then we'll be rating Sensei Suplex, who is live with some D&D. But yeah, take us away, Omega. Who are you, and where can people find you?
You're muted.
Of course I am. Of course I am, because
Now we can hear you.
Never a stream without somebody being muted. Hi, my name is Omega Jones, also known as a Critical Bard across all social media channels. As I said, I'm an active vocalist, tabletop professional, hot mess incarnate, Twitch partner, just trying to make this world a little better, one troublemaker at a time. You can find me many different places and many different things. A lot's happening, and that's okay. I would love to shout out that today at 11:30 Pacific. Yes, at 11:30 Pacific over on twitch.tv/ no, at noon. Sorry, at noon Pacific. I'll be over on twitch.tv/ Dave Walters channel, playing a level 20 epic charity game, benefiting public schools in Burbank, specifically the arts programs for public schools in Burbank. Myself, Cypher of Tier, Gabe James Games, Daniel Kwan, Xander Genere, and Sage Ryan are all going to be dying together, most likely. So
Can you put that in chat so we can get a link for that up in chat? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. It's gonna be a good time, and I'm very excited to raise money. I'm very excited about the character I'm playing too, because good times, good vibes. There we go. But yeah.
Sweet. So that's that's noon Pacific, 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, whatever it is across the seas, because I just don't know.
Sebastian, who are you, and where can people find you?
Hi, I am Sebastian. I am a TTRPG writer and editor, sometime performer. You can find me anywhere at Sebastian Yue. I'm most active on Twitter, so that's just Sebastian and YUE, all one word. Streaming, I am playing the Moon Prince in an actual play of Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast over on Comfort Carrion Studios every Thursday. And aside from that, you can just kind of find me floating around. I am working on various writing and editing projects at any given time. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And one more awesome person. Jackie.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm Jackie Leung, and you can always find me on Twitter at DeathbyMage. And I pretty much am writing for different projects all the time, and I'm also editing. I just remembered that I just finished I did editing for Evil Hat Productions recently. They're doing a crowdfunding for On Game Found for their Improv for Gamers second edition, which I was the editor for, and it is a great little workbook for improvisers. It doesn't have to be for gamers, for any improvisers or anybody who wants to learn some improv skills. And they were all workshops and exercises meant for that. We can probably say that I think we're like we're definitely past halfway. I know I checked yesterday, was past halfway. So yeah, you can find that, and you can probably look forward to all my other future work. So just follow me on Twitter.
Woo! I love, by the way, shout out to GameFound. So fantastic crowdfunding platform that that we used as a kind of late pledge manager thing when we did our first 2 Kickstarters, because they are free and it's a fantastic tool. So, and they're just a great group of people. So yeah, just shout out to them. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming on. I hope all of our viewers are leaving inspired and are taking their D8 for inspiration. Why do I not have a D8 on me? I'm a bad, although I have a bunch of dice like legitimately in my office right here. So I should have been like a D8. Yes, a D8 for inspiration. Oh,
I'm not gonna lie that there's a dice tray right next to me at all times.
I love that all of us look at that. That's fantastic. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And with that, hey, we are out of here. You guys have a great afternoon. And thank you again to our guests and to our viewers. Bye-bye, everybody.